Welcome to section 4.12. This is the 47th session of the ISACA CISA exam prep series. In this session, we'll cover business impact analysis. We'll answer several questions. What is a business impact analysis and why run one? Who needs to be involved and what do you gather? How do you collect the information? What three core questions drive the whole exercise? How do downtime cost and recovery cost trade off? And how do you rank systems by criticality? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because you cannot protect everything equally. Picture a regional bank with hundreds of systems. Some can be down for a week without harm. Others cost a fortune after a single hour. A business impact analysis tells you which is which. It is the foundation under every continuity decision. Get it right, and you spend your recovery budget wisely. Get it wrong, and you overprotect the trivial while the vital fails. So what is a business impact analysis? It is a critical first step in building your continuity strategy. It evaluates your critical processes and the technology behind them. From there, it determines timeframes, priorities, and resources. It also maps the interdependencies between them. Here is a useful habit. Even with a recent risk assessment, double-check the criticality. The analysis often uncovers hidden components that quietly matter. And if you outsource any of this, factor in those contracts too. Think of it as taking inventory before a storm. You decide what must be saved first. Who needs to be involved in this? This is not a solo technical task. You need strong senior management sponsorship. You need heavy involvement from both technology and end-user staff. And senior management must approve which resources count as critical. One more rule keeps you honest. Look beyond the obvious resources. It is easy to list the visible database servers, but gateways and transport servers matter too. Gather those from the teams that own the critical work. How do you actually measure impact? You sort downtime into impact bands, high, medium, and low. Then you estimate each impact in time, like hours, days, or weeks. You use the same approach for data loss, and you can attach a financial value to each band. You also gather timeframes for vital supplies. How long can you run if a supply is cut off? Imagine a card issuer waiting on blank plastic to personalize, or a team waiting on replacement laptops after a flood. Those waiting times shape your whole plan. How do you collect all this information? There are three popular approaches. The first is a questionnaire. You circulate a detailed form to key users, then tabulate the answers. The second is interviews. You sit down with groups of key users and analyze what they tell you. The third is a workshop. You bring technology and process owners into one room. Together, they agree on acceptable downtime and vital resources. That group method often works best after the data is gathered. And wherever you can, study past transaction volumes. Real history substantiates what the interviews claim. What three questions drive the whole exercise? The first asks about your business processes. Which ones really matter, and how critical is each? Some signals make a process critical. It supports health and safety, its disruption causes lost income or unacceptable cost. It is needed to meet a legal requirement, or it affects many users or business segments. Remember, criticality can shift with time and mode. A process may be vital during business hours and trivial overnight. The second question asks which information resources support those processes. This ordering matters. Losing a server is only a disaster if it underpins a critical process. The third question asks about the critical recovery period. How fast must processing resume before losses become unacceptable? A brokerage has a far shorter window than a factory, and timing matters. An outage late on a quiet Saturday is gentler than one on a busy Monday. How do downtime cost and recovery cost trade off? Think of two opposing forces. The first is the cost of downtime. It climbs fast the longer an outage lasts. Idle staff, lost sales, and delays all pile up. Eventually it levels off when the business simply cannot function. The second is the cost of your recovery measures. This falls as you accept a longer recovery time. A relaxed target is cheaper to prepare for. A stringent target carries a much higher fixed cost. You pay for that readiness whether or not disaster strikes. Add the two curves together and you usually get a U-shape. The smartest strategy sits at the lowest point of that curve. How do you rank systems by criticality? You combine impact with likelihood. A system's ranking reflects both the recovery period and the odds of disruption. Many teams use the probability of an event to size their spending. Suppose a serious outage has a tiny chance over 5 years. You weigh that probability against the potential loss. That kind of expected loss thinking guides a reasonable budget. From this, you can prioritize your most critical systems. A typical ranking uses 4 classes. Critical functions cannot run without identical replacements and cannot go manual. Vital functions can run manually, but only for a brief time. Sensitive functions can run manually for longer, though it is awkward and costly. And non-sensitive functions can pause for a long stretch with little harm. Where does the analysis lead next? It feeds your choice of recovery strategy. Once you know what is critical and how fast it must return, you pick alternatives. 3 metrics guide that choice: the recovery point objective, the recovery time objective, and the mean time to repair. Those become your bridge into disaster recovery planning. So let's bring it together. A business impact analysis ranks what matters most. It needs senior sponsorship and broad involvement. You gather impact in bands and timeframes for vital resources. Collect data by questionnaire, interview, or workshop. Answer 3 questions about processes, resources, and recovery time. Balance downtime cost against recovery cost at the U-curve's low point. Then rank systems from critical down to non-sensitive. Master this, and every later continuity decision rests on solid ground. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on RooCloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.